There is nothing that prepares you for the actual transplant, the actual process, the actual taking care of your child during a transplant. It is hard, 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 hard.
It's a long process. You don't come stay for 2 weeks and go home and you well. It's a process.
Hopefully it goes smooth, but even when it goes smooth, it's not easy. So just understand that there may be some setbacks along the way.
You know, you're thinking during it, am I going to survive this? But you do.
You know, when a doctor comes in and sits down in your room and tells you got cancer, that's a scary feeling. So we're going to take one day at a time. And that's why you got to do this, one day at a time.
Organization is the key to keeping your loved one healthy.
I mean, not just to make it sound bad or anything, we're not talking about coming home on 5 or 6 medicines, no. It probably was about 15 different medications that you had to have at different parts of the day, each day.
My husband, for example, he doesn't even know the name of the medications that he's on. If I say, did you take your budesonide or did you take your nifedipine, or he'll go, I don't know which ones they are. I'm counting on you for that.
You haven't done this before, but the nurses, the doctors have been here before.
They provided us with an awesome blueprint. Like, we didn't really have to try to come up with things on our own or try to create something that worked for us.
They don't sugarcoat anything. They straightforward with you, letting you know what you're gonna be going into. And that way, when you come in here, you know what to expect.
If you don't understand something, make sure you ask and get them to explain what's going on, you know, specifically. If your child has a question and can't, you know, communicate that, make sure you be the voice.
Make sure you read your literature, and whenever they're giving you advice, take the advice real good. And when you have questions, ask your questions and get a real good understanding.
You gotta believe it. You gotta be dedicated, because the patient's gonna need you, and it's gonna be new to them. It's gonna be new to the patient, and it's a give and take type deal.
If they don't take that serious, to be honest, you probably should try to reconsider that person, as far as not as a friend or a family member, but as a caregiver. Like, 'cause it's just too important. If you have some doubts, if you're don't think you're all the way, take some time to think. Don't feel like you gotta, don't rush, don't dive in. Take some time to think, because you need to be confident in your decision. Once you make that decision, you must be confident in your decision.
There's no turning back. Once it starts, it's like,
you know, you've got to have it in your mind before you get here. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make it through this. And even on the worst days, there's always something to be thankful for. I mean, it might not be anything, but he took 2 drinks of a milkshake, or, you know, he offered to eat a bite of ice cream.
A caregiver has to be flexible. What he would eat, like 1 week, he won't eat the next week. 1 week he likes vanilla pudding and Jell-O, and then the next week it makes him sick.
I've known him for almost 30 years, and I've never known him not to eat. And when he lost his appetite, that was you know, it was scary, it was serious, but we finally learned how to navigate around it with pain medications and rinses. And
at some point, nutrition is kind of out of the window. You just want him to get calories at some point. We didn't care about him eating vegetables when he was here. If it was a milkshake in the morning, if it was a milkshake in the afternoon, if it was a milkshake in the evening, that was a win. We won that day.
When there's no other choice, you just have to do it. You have to pull your bootstraps up and do whatever you have to do for them, but it's very hard, it's very difficult.
I mean, it was sometimes more, as a caregiver, more mentally challenging than physical.
The percentage of time I spend on myself as a caregiver, if I had to give it a number, would probably be 10%. You don't have a lot of time to breathe on your own, and it's important.
Make sure you drink and you're eating, because you don't want to get sick and not be able to take care of the patient.
I can't stress the importance of going through this process needing support, needing a team, almost, in a sense. Whether your team is 3 or 4 people, it doesn't have to be a football team. The support that you will get from your family, more than likely from your friends, don't turn it away. It's needed.
So his family members, we took turns. They would come stay during the week, and when Friday come, I would leave work and come up here and stay till Sunday. Then I would go home. Then I have a child still at home. I had to juggle, juggle people around for her staying with different ones.
It's hard for me to allow people to help, but going through this process, I think it's very important that we do allow people to help us. Sometimes you can't leave the hospital room, or you can't leave the hospital itself, and somebody bringing you something or doing something for you when your spouse or your family members can't is very helpful and important.
Let your guard down, because you've got to have some help. This is a big, big responsibility, and it takes a lot of people to get through it.
We had a sit down with all of our girls, with all the kids before transplant, and we explained to them everything that was going to happen. The process and how important it was for everything to stay clean, from the food and utensils to ourselves, making sure we were clean. They have no immune system. They have nothing to fight any infections. You have to be very diligent about the food, about cleaning, about everything, and it gets very stressful.
I bet I washed my hands 1,000 times a day, and I had all the stuff to sanitize and spray them, and I was so afraid that if I didn't know I had something and he got it, that his immune system couldn't fight it, and it would be my fault. I couldn't live with it.
Am I keeping my hands clean? Did I bring something home with me? I worked in a nursing home, so I was really concerned about, when I came in, I went straight to the bathroom. I showered, washed up before I touched him.
It's almost like they are back to being a newborn the way their immune system is. So any little cold, there would be a common cold to us. To not sound awful, it could be life-threatening to your child.
I don't know what we'd do without UMMC and the bone marrow unit. I don't know what we'd do without all the doctors that are on our team. I don't want to leave anybody's name out. But it's really special. It's a special atmosphere.
We have a great cancer clinic here in Mississippi. The doctors are awesome. The clinic is great. The nurses and doctors, they do such a great job. And we knew that the treatment was going to be exactly the same if we went to St. Jude or Le Bon or any of those other places that have these services.
I couldn't have had a better place. I wouldn't trade UMC for nothing. The nurses here, the doctors here are just wonderful. The support here is outstanding, and it's just like being at home.
When you're in it, it's tough, but when it ends and you see the outcome, you would be like us. You're singing, like, thank you for helping us through it, pushing us through it, and now you have your child doing the things that they couldn't do before. So transplant in and of itself is scary, but it's a miracle.